Good content is expected. Great content is key. Today, my goal is for you to take 2 or 3 things out of here. There's a lot that I'm going to give you, but you're not going to remember it all. So if you can come out with 2 or 3 things, this right here is huge. Great content defines your company. And you may say, what does that even mean? Content. What information do you provide? What are you about? Whether that's online, that's everything that's not in person or on the phone, or offline. So offline would be what we're doing now, which used to be the norm. So just to clarify, great content. I blogged about this the other day, and the guy who wrote the foreword of my book has one of the New York Times bestsellers on return on influence on cloud and the whole internet of how people grow their brand and so forth. And he commented back to me and said, I said, you helped inspire me to write on great content. And I was kidding with him, and he said, but can you do it consistently? The world is unfiltered. See, you have an opportunity to communicate to whoever you want. You don't have to get into trade publication. You don't have to get anything. If your content's good, people are going to come. If your content isn't good, people aren't going to come. It's real simple. I mean, people will want to do business with you if you have information they want to hear. If you don't, they won't. Just that's about as simple. So think about your content. A chapter in the book is dedicated to this whole thing called the 5 why communications model. And let me explain what that means. If you're trying to examine the customer and understand what really they're getting at, and you ask, how are we doing? They say, well, we're doing pretty good. You need to say, well, what do you mean we're doing pretty good? They say, well, I mean, you guys have done a good job for us for a while. So, well, go a little deeper. You don't have to say the word why every time. Just follow the idea. Well, other things we're not doing is, well, your invoices a little inconsistent, and your CSR has kind of been not as great as she was in the past, but overall good. Well, why are you seeing that in our invoices? Well, your competition's kind of approached me and showed me a streamlined electronic way where I can just see a PDF and know it's done, and that's nice, but I like you guys. Well, why would that make your life easier? Because I just lost one of my key people, and now that job's on me. And with your CSR that way and the invoicing, that's the only thing I would say to make my life easier. You kept digging. And where most people, I go out in the field all the time around the country with salespeople, they stop at a question, how are we doing? You're doing pretty good. And they ask the follow-up, well, what can we do better? I'm like, nothing, you're doing a pretty good job overall. And they stop. Don't stop, keep digging. So you got to think through digging those questions. We're not trying to be like a little kid and say, why? We're not saying that. But the 5 why idea is digging to the bottom of the question.